All right. It's been a while since I've been on StreamYard. I just did the whole intro and then saw a button that said go live. So we're now live. Welcome to Anything is Possible. I guess we're back to our Tuesday night tips indoors because of the time changes. But tonight's episode is going to be trout fishing. I'm going to try to cover as much stuff as I can on trout fishing and let people answer or ask questions and answer them. I fish Pennsylvania mainly, where I live. So my information will be biased towards those fish and those, types of water. But I'm hoping we have enough people that come in and can share their information. Yo, Matt, want to be outdoors? Welcome in, buddy. Jack, Cats, and Bass, welcome in. It's been a while since I've been on StreamYard. I'm going to pop over to YouTube to find my link here. I want to pin up the link. Might bring up some other folks as we go along here tonight. And might have a little distraction. We are in the process of adopting a stray cat that's been hanging out at our house for a while. So we already have cats, so it's an issue. But we're going to bring him into the basement. So you may see you might see a cat fight. I don't know. All right. Dundas Junction, welcome in. Dwight, welcome in. Hope you're not all banding Jerry for me. I'm trying to pin my thingy up here. There we go. No, that didn't work. Bear with me, guys. Big Matt, welcome in. Let's see. Let me go to my live. Bud Files, welcome in. Just trying to relearn myself on StreamYard, trying to remember how I can grab a link and put it to the top. I don't think I can do that in StreamYard. So I need to go back to YouTube. You know, I try to prepare, but this is stuff I don't think I could do until I was on. Let's see. All right. Well, heck with it. I'll drop the link later again in the chat. But so I don't know how many you guys in here are into trout fishing. In Pennsylvania, they do fall stockings this time of year, just like they do in the spring. Oh, there's Travis. Let me see. You get caught up here. Yo, Travis. What's going on?
Hello.
Welcome in. This is Travis Yoder, another local guy to us. Good friend. What's up? The fishing was slow?
Yeah, it was slow. Caught a few smallies down at the spillway, but that was about it.
All right. Nice. All right. So you ready for trout?
I'm ready. Wish it was tomorrow, but guess not.
Yeah. Travis had all the details. Apparently they pushed it back a little bit. So I think around October 19th or so, they're going to be stocking the counties near us. But everyone always asks us, like, and you see people post online, like, well, where do we go? Most states do have a site, that you can go to, and they literally share the stocking schedule. And our site actually has like the maps you just click on, and the top end and the low end, and you literally just park and where they're at. So
Yep.
Pretty cool. Let me see who else is in here. What do you got going on tonight, Travis?
Not a whole lot.
Are you with deer hunting?
Nah, I don't get out for that. Just for goose.
Goose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim, welcome in. Tim's in. I saw Bud Files. Daniel Berry's in. Welcome. Yep. So I was just thinking I would cover, if you got questions on trout fishing, ask them, or else I'm just going to kind of go through what we do here. And I was just going to start covering what I do, my setup, Travis, unless you have something you want to address, or just hang out and tell me when I'm wrong.
All right.
Let me get my rod. This will start with fishing rods. I use a quality Walmart rod. This is light action, medium moderate would probably be ideal. I run 4-pound tests. So if you're going to go out and buy a rod for trout fishing, I would look on the back of the rod where that info is. It usually tells you what line that the rod is kind of made to handle. And then you want to make sure you get a reel that can handle the same. Now, this is an $18 Walmart rod, but I upgraded with a better reel. And again, on the reel, they usually have it. Where's this camera? Right on the side here. They usually give you the line and how many feet it would take of that line to fill this. So keep up with chat here. I don't want to miss anything. Taco, welcome in. Welcome in. Taco, here we're fishing for stock, wild, and native. So when I say wild, at least in Pennsylvania, I'm talking brown trout. They're not native to Pennsylvania, but they do reproduce. So I'm usually referring to wild browns here. They also get stocked. Hey, Deer Corner, welcome in. They also stock rainbow trout, and there's a few creeks where the rainbow trout will hold over. I don't know if they'll reproduce. They'll try to. And then we have brook trout. So brook trout are our native trout. They are supposed to be here. They also stock brookies, but brook trout are the other species. Did I get them all? Rainbow, browns, brook. They're the three main trout. Tiger trout's like a cross breed. I guess they're their own breed. But that's their setup there that we use. And I'll use that for wild. Now, I also fly fish. I don't want to just get too down in the weeds, trying to keep this more basic. And then for fishing line, after I said basic, I get good line. I get fluorocarbon. Mono probably works just as good, especially if you're newer to fishing. Fluoro tends to like twist more, but I use 4-pound. I wouldn't go any more than 4-pound. Our trout here are only, up to 2 pounds usually. So if you have your drag set, I mean, we land 10-pound carps on this line. So if you know what you're doing with your drag, it's plenty. Our counties here are getting stocked in 2 weeks, definitely a week or two later than usual. Yeah, it's the same over here, Tim. We're a little bit late. Lyle's here. Lyle just came in.
Hi, I just got back from bandaging my leg.
What happened?
I was gonna get up, and the cat was,
No, the cat got you.
Yeah, because he didn't want to leave, and then I sat up, and he just like, no!
All right, so the cat that we're in the process of adopting, the stray cat that chose us, is already causing blood in the house. That's lovely. We're off to a flying start with the new cat.
No, it was my fault. I stood up when he was latched on to me. Oh, yeah, and I came also down here to say that I saw a trash monkey come right up to the porch.
Trash monkey. Oh, a raccoon?
Yeah.
We got a raccoon. Trash panda.
Oh, yeah.
Trash panda.
Yeah, trash panda.
Yeah, he's probably coming out for the cat food your mom put out there.
Yeah. I just saw his eyes.
Thanks, Taco. Try.
I heard the cat was like, that seems sus. And then started growling, and then out of nowhere, a very suspicious trash panda came yeeting out of the forest.
All right.
And I was like, oh my God, lol.
Thanks for the update, buddy.
Yes. So now we got a trash panda.
Trash panda. All right. So back to our trout fishing. So I showed you the rod and the line I use, and really I think they're the two most important thing. 4-pound fluoro, and all of this is going to be kind of related and dependent on the water that you fish. Here we're fishing a lot of streams and creeks with like moderate flow, and my go-to bait, my go-to lure, and even if I had live bait, I would still choose a trout magnet, which is just a tiny jig head, like 1/164th. And let me show you. So they come in packs like this at like Walmart, and you can order them online. I know you guys probably all know this, but maybe somebody will see this that doesn't know that. and they come in all different colors. So you just put them, you feed the hook right through the middle of the body. And there's a little split between the tail, and the hook should come right out of that. And this is important, because it's not going to look right if you don't get it on the hook right. And trout, even though this is tiny to a trout, it's pretty big, So this is the eyelets on the top. So this is my favorite jig to use. And you're just going to cast it upstream. I prefer to cast it upstream and reel it towards you with the tip high, jigging it. And that little motion there triggers so many bites. And if you need to, you can put a little split shot further up the line, which is split shot is just a little piece of lead is what we call that here. And get tiny ones, and you can put several on there, but you just want just barely enough weight. And if you don't need weight, don't use weight. Definitely affects the bite. The less is more, as they say. If you guys have questions, please ask them, or else I'm going to just go through my rant. Then I'll check and chat a little bit more. I've probably said this 100 times in all my lives because it's true. Instead of using the trout magnet, we'll use the same jig, and I use these Berkeley power worms, and I use this for everything. This is like my favorite go-to setup right there. Bass, trout, crappie, sunfish, carp even. I've caught so many things on that setup. Yeah, he was saying that I don't know if that was before or after this. Somebody was saying they don't know where to start with trout fishing. I'm not sure if they're still in here. Oh, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon, let me know if you're in here. You got questions, let me know, buddy. Yo, Ted, going on my Trout Talk spiel. Ted, I don't know if you saw my community post like 2 minutes ago, but I just picked up my buddy's deer. It's in our freezer. It's a monster. So we just filled the freezer up with that one. How's your hunts going? Travis is in the background. I'll make myself big. If he pops back up, I'll bring him back up. Theo, right? Theo's the one that just started hunting. I wanted to show you guys another crazy. So this is, something's going to fall out every time I flip this over. Let me see. These little guys right here are, let me get a real trout magnet first and show you the difference, because I don't think you get an idea of how small these things are. But we just did a trip. That video will be out Friday down in Valley Forge National Park. We were catching the wild browns, and some of them are like 5 inches. They're real small fish. So there's the size difference between those little tiny ones. Now they're a pain in the butt to cast and mend the line, because you really need a micro rod. Our rod's too big for that, but you can throw it under a bobber and it works pretty good. I mean, they hit it constantly. They hit it a lot more than the trout magnets, but I just don't enjoy fishing with it. It's too tiny. But if they're not biting, or you're fishing something, you're fishing little brook trout that are 5, inches long, that would be awesome. We use these guys a lot, like the trout magnet floats. We'll float that 18 inches above the trout magnet and just cast it and let it go through a pool over and over again. That's another fun way to catch them. Yeah, what are you guys up to? Who's all fishing out there? Anyone fishing for trout yet? Fall's a great time to catch them. The water temp's cool. So it's a better time to catch if you don't catch and release. A lot of the streams get too hot in the summer. And if they're even in there, you really shouldn't handle them. So it's not good to target them. But this time of year, the water's cold again, or cooling, I should say. you can start targeting them and give them a better chance of being released safely. All the other jigs in here are basically, most of them are Dave Double Hook Angling. He ties a lot of our jigs for us. And I haven't fished with one of these in years, but this is just like a marabou jig. I've always done really good with these with stock trout. They kind of look like a leech, and you can bounce them off the bottom. You can swim them. I'm looking forward to trying that out this year. Thought I had 3 of them. I already lost one. That's all for my jig box, I think. Yeah, I would agree with you, Tim. Fall fishing is definitely different than the spring. Just a different feel about it. Yeah, I think they're just hungry, and it's like their native time to do their runs and things. And I think that even though they might not be running up the creeks, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we have holdovers in a lake close to us where Travis was just talking about, and they literally go up into the creek like they're going to spawn, and they go on beds and everything, just like they're really spawning. Yeah, Ted, we're going to go up to New York for Steelhead. Kevin and I are going to do a camping trip up there around Thanksgiving. It's going to be a cold one, but we want to make sure all the salmon crazies are out of there before we go up. Cool. I hope you're doing good, Matt. Matt just had some surgery. We'll keep you in our thoughts there, buddy. That was I think you said your hand, right? Yeah. We've been doing, Ted said I may go out for steelies because I got my buck, but I still got Theo, he's his son, and he's got to do some Ohio hunting. We usually go up for salmon in the fall. And then this year we just did a few big trips recently, so the timing wasn't quite right. And Kev hates he doesn't have the patience to sit in a car, and that's almost like a 5-hour car ride for us. So we're just pushing it back, and we wanted to do steelhead. So I'm like, yeah, let's just push the trip to New York, the Salmon River, back to like Thanksgiving. We'll go up towards like Altmar area. I think it's Brown's campground. We always camp there, and then we hike like 2 miles. There's a lot of holes on the way, but the hole we like is like 2 miles away. But it's such a cool spot. I mean, you walk out of your campground and just walk down to the water. Campground's filled with like anglers catching fish. They smoke fish right there. So it's just a cool experience, like being at deer camp. Really cool. There you go. Yeah, I saw that rub line. Ted had a video out showing you how to do the mock scrape, and he just got a nice buck, and apparently it came right in for the mock scrape, so it worked pretty darn good. It's funny. Ted, was that today or yesterday? The days are blurring. But I remember I got to work today. I think it might have been today. I got to work, and the guy who works next to me is also an archery guy. And he's like, man, why are we here? The guy said the same thing. Like, today's the day. You just feel it in the air. It was like a nice brisk morning. Man, I went out for a run at the office before work. Saw a huge buck just trotting across the baseball field. All right, back to trail. Yeah, tell me what you guys' favorite baits are, favorite lures for trout. I'm curious to know what your go-tos are. Joe's fly spinners are also one of my favorites, and I like the heavier weight. This one is 1/4 ounce, and it runs 4 to 6 feet deep. So the big spinner and the shape of it, that it's kind of fat, keeps it up high in the water column. Otherwise, you'd be getting it snagged. And again, like most lures, I cross the current, but with Joe's, I also come down the current. And I think a lot of anglers cross current, but I grew up and spent like my most time fishing against salmon. And I just learned the technique of like coming into their faces for like subtle bites when they're not feeding. And Joe's fly works really well downstream as well because of that big paddle. Yo, Jeff, welcome in, buddy. Hey, Wendy, thanks for coming in. Hoping you and is Stuart home yet? Hope you guys are doing good. The Phoebe lure, always catch fish on it. They have a gold and silver. That's like kind of like a spoon, right? It's shaped like a fish, or is that Al's goldfish? I think think what a Phoebe lure is. I remember that because I work with a lady whose daughter is Phoebe. That's why I remember it. Ooh, I just opened my tackle box and it stinks. I don't know why it stinks. I'm going to open up this Joe's lure. Show you a couple things that I really like about this. See if I can do this without breaking my lure. Yeah, like Fish Walmart had them always a bunch of different sizes. Yep, nice. I know exactly what they are then. The thing I like about Joe's flies is they have like a nice single hook. And then they, in the tail where you would get the short strikes, they've got a little tiny treble hook. And I had one that I used for years and the treble hook broke off and it was just the single hook. And I still caught tons of fish on it. But I really like that little tail hook there. It's connected with a mono. So it kind of, you know, I've seen others do it. It's this one, I don't know. I like it. It's heavy. You can cast it far and yet it doesn't sink. So that goes into my my start. This is the box I like to carry when I'm really going to travel the streams. The Magnum Joe flies. I'm not sure I know what the Magnums are. These, I've got a lot of these guys, but they're so light that like I have trouble getting the casts in the places that I fish, but they're deadly too. And I've even caught them just around like we fish the Unami a lot. It's a stream with these huge boulders. And on a hot day, the trout will just be under those boulders. And sometimes you can pick them up on there. Yeah, Joe's fly is what we call them. Yeah. Mini foo jigs under a float and tipped with a maggot or waxworms. Yep. Maggot and waxworms are, I'll throw those even on the jigs sometimes just to give it some action and the scent. Yeah, and he's on the stream there, Tasha from Amir. Oh, nice. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Wendy. I'm glad he's back home safely. Cool, cool, cool. Brother Stewart. Yeah, so lots of, and I'm a big MEPS guy as well. Like, grew up fishing like the zero MEPS, and my dad always fished like the 00 silver MEPS. So we always have those. I mean, every year in our house, I think everybody bought each other MEPS for Christmas, birthdays, because we, you know, you hang them in a tree. So here's something with the Cabela's. I wonder if anyone uses this. Kevin caught one wild brown on this setup. It's a mini Ned rig. I never saw the minis. And it comes with like the little tiny Ned rig worms. You talk to me, Jeff Beal. Which one's a deadly combo? The brown one you just had in your hand, used with split shot. Yeah. Yep, I do the same. There's little ones I will add the split shot on. Blue Fox, the calling bell. Yep. Let's see if I got any Blue Foxes here. The problem is, like, you end up like I have. If you guys saw my other boring live when I went through all my gear, I've got so much stuff that's out of control. But what happens is, like, you lose your good lures and all your bad ones last forever. So you keep looking at all this junk and you're like, nah, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. But I haven't really heard anybody using these for trout. They're more for like bass and panfish. But you know, like if you fish Ned rigs, you know the action that they have. I can't wait to try this out. I think it's gonna work really good. And Kevin caught one, a wild down in Valley Forge, and those fish are pretty tough. Kev's home. Did you try the deer jerky? Go up on the dining room table. There's a Ziploc bag of deer jerky.
Get out of my way.
We just got a big bag of deer jerky done. He's going to tear that up. It's amazing. Yep, wax worms with we float the wax when we can't catch nothing in a couple spots. We'll float the wax worms on like a salmon egg hook. And sometimes you look silly getting it out there, but I'm telling you, there's something to be said for like just barely enough weight to get the cast where you need it, nothing more. And you'll get hits and the guy next to you won't get anything. So, dang it, Bobby. Dang it, Bobby, you speak English. Yeah. Is that what he said? Dang it, Bobby. I don't even listen to him anymore. He's out of control. It's just a matter of time. He's going to move out. He's had a nice long life here. He's ready to be his own man. I wish butter worms didn't work, Ted. My God, it's like my addiction. If I need to catch something, butter worms is probably the best thing I've ever used. I mean, they're ridiculously good. Probably should be illegal. They're so good. And they're so expensive at our local shop. So expensive. And you never know what you're going to get. You're sitting in there digging through them, trying to make sure you actually have good bait. But my God, some of them come out and they're like tiny. But if you get those big fat ones, little salmon egg hook again, and you get that out there, man, they can't pass it up. Then, of course, you got your power bait. For me, I only have luck with power bait on stock trout, and I would never even purposely target wilds or natives with power bait because they swallow it most of the time. Yo, random fishing, welcome in, buddy. Gonna try them at Erie for steelhead in a few weeks. Nice. I don't know why they won't work. That's awesome. But yeah, the power bait's another good one. Power bait, for me, works best when you fish it like off the bottom. So you got the weight. I was going to rig this up. I just didn't have time. I had to pick up a deer today. But it's best if you have like the weight like 18 inches up. At least for me, I find it this way. And then a real tiny hook again. Like there's little tiny treble hooks for the power bait though that work really good at holding that bait on, and it'll float up. And a lot of spots where we fish, you have rock or moss or whatever, and it'll just sit up there right in the strike zone, and they can't pass it up. And that type of fishing is like you're not holding the rod. For me, I'm putting that rod down and I'm watching for the strike, and you got to grab the rod immediately. But Ted says, see, now I switched from power bait to the gulp, and I've had more success. I hear gulp is just as expensive, right? I don't think there's any price break on that. They both work good enough for what we do. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a comparison. Are you going back to the shore? So, we are not going back to the shore that I know of, but I didn't really know we were going to the shore that day either. So who knows? I have no clue what we're doing. Every day I wake up and it's a mystery. No idea. This might be a little crazy, but this might be a conspiracy theory, but now these used to be mouse tails. I don't know if you guys know what mouse tails are, but they're basically like a power egg with a power worm combo. It looks like a sperm. I don't know how else to explain it. But for whatever reason, I feel like the power worms fall off the trout magnets a lot easier, and then these don't. So what I do is I pop their heads off, and then we use the worm piece instead of the power worm. But we've got confidence that it's actually a lot better than the power worm. So this is what we do. And then when you're done, you still have like power eggs that we use. So that might be a conspiracy theory, but I swear it's worked for us. I get mousy. That's a maggot with a tail. Yeah. Yeah, I've never really had luck, Travis, with them as they are. But I don't know if you were with us the day was it Skipback? No, it might have been Perk, where I was fishing with Aiden Fife. And literally like Aiden and Kevin were fishing, and Aiden had a mouse tail on. And like it was insane. He brought in so many fish that I got crouched down next to the creek and I didn't move. Well, it was like a 10-foot bank and I was tired anyways. I was running around stocking before that and everything. But I stayed down there for like 3 hours, just netting trout left and right. And Aiden was using mouse tails the whole time. I think there's something to be said for that action. Like you have to know the action. And I don't know. I don't think I had that action right for whatever reason. I think that's all my combos. Lots of different spinners. Ted, is this what you were talking about? The Blue Fox? It's got like the Sonic body on it. These are real. I like these a lot too. I think that's a Blue Fox, right? I can't see anyway, and this light's not good. Yeah, it's a Blue Fox, but I don't know if that's the type you were talking about. These are like zero maps. I like those guys. All right, Travis. I'll give them another try. I'll give the mouse tails another try. For live bait, yes, they call it fish calling bell. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that Blue Fox Vibrax. I open things up immediately. I tear the packages open. I hate cardboard because it gets wet. You find it in the bottom of your bag and it's wet and then your hook's rusty. So I take them out of there right away. But then I never know what I have. And then trout magnet, I have all different types, all different colors. Live bait. We're only using live bait if we're going to keep the fish because a lot of times they will swallow it, especially browns. But I use worms, night crawlers, wax worms, butter worms, mealworms. We even used to raise mealworms. We used so many of them there for a while. Minnows, grasshoppers, crickets, whatever we get our hands on for free is usually our go-to. What do you guys use for live bait? I mean, worms seem to be the ultimate go-to. And then there's sometimes where the minnow will get a strike that you can't get any other way. If anybody wants to come up and chat or be live with me, I can drop the link again. Yeah, I think I can just hit this, copy that. There. Yeah. Links there if anybody wants to pop up and tired of typing and we can talk for a little bit. I use circle hooks all the time, but not for trout. Have you used them? How they work? I think I used them a couple times. And to me, I think it would be, well, a salmon egg hook kind of looks like a circle hook to me, right? And they'll swallow a salmon egg hook, no problem. So my thought process, and I could be wrong, was like a circle hook to be the right size so that the fish doesn't swallow it would be too big and they wouldn't bite it. So I don't know. Leeches are awesome. Yep. Leeches are awesome. Hellgramite's awesome. Yep. Yeah. That's you probably seen enough of my videos to know. I mean, Kevin usually and I don't even ask him. He just goes out, starts catching me bait. I'll just sit there and he brings bait to me like, oh, here's a Hellgramite, you know? What else do I want to cover? For tools. And again, I know you guys know this, but somebody might fall upon this that's going to get into fishing. These little jobbers here, the nice tight point, helps you get into like the trout mouth and things like that a lot better than some of the other tools out there. And then I'll also bring these little cutters here that if it's not hooked in a bad spot or something, a lot of times you can just cut the hook and then it just falls right back out. If you're doing like catch and release or wilds, I'll use that. Fishing with Dot, welcome in. Welcome in. Crayfish, I totally missed crayfish, same deal, yep. Catch a lot of fish on crayfish, tons of smallies, but we've also caught trout. And I caught one big brown on a live crayfish that Kevin caught Kevin caught the crayfish for me. And he's like, "I'll throw this one in." I hooked it up, threw it out there, and caught a monster brown. I use live. If Kevin will catch me live, I'll use live crayfish. Absolutely. I have some fake ones. And, the one thing I don't have here, glad we did this live, would be like a little plug, jerk bait. Give me 1 second. I want to see if I have it. They're right behind me on that table. All my gear is on that table right now. It's a disaster. Let me see if I can find some. Because if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. There you go, Ted. If you're still in here, Ted, here's our straight from the butcher here. I got a little work to do. I got to boil that off, but it's going to be on the wall soon. Got a couple other ideas walking out there too. That's not what I wanted though. All right. These might be I keep saying these are my favorite. These might be my favorite. It's not my buck. To be all honest with you, that's not my buck. Good friend, Nick Stumpo, might be watching. Long story, but he shot that buck, and due to some health issues going on, he is not allowed to touch a deer. So he shot it. And from what I understand, had a team of people on the ground ready to gut, butcher. So I just kind of helped him get it to the shop and picked up the meat, and going to do a little work on the antlers and get it ready for his house, hopefully. Yep. Random said he uses live minnows. See, I can't tell who I have moderators and who I don't. If I don't have you as a mod, let me know, and I'll go add you as a mod real quick. Uzuri Pin Minnow. Let me look that up. I wonder if that's the lure. That might be the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. That's exactly it. I used to have that thing sitting over there. It was like my favorite. We caught a lot of nice wild browns up in New York with that. Kevin hung it from a tree somewhere. But like these guys, they'll get a lot of bites on these too. These aren't the patterns I want. I like the ones that actually look like rainbow trout. They seem to work best in the water I fish. Let me put those over here. He got deeritis. No, he got well, one out of 4 of us is going to get. We got buck fever real bad. Yo, random buddy. Did I say hi to you? I don't think I did. I got a buddy who's old school and uses a scene, whatever it's called, to catch minnows. Okay. I have a 9-year-old who catches minnows. Turn them loose. Yeah. I used to use one of I don't know what they're called either, sieve or whatever. I used to use them fly fishing and figure out what the hatch was. Now they have now I use this. It's all cheating to me now. Now you just open a book up and you read, it tells you your body of water and what to use on what date. But I mean, we were pumping when I was a kid. We'd be pumping the trout stomach out and seeing what bugs were in the water, and we just still didn't know what the bug were. We were dumb cavemen. We would just start tying a fly that looked like that, or buy a cheap fly that looked like that thing we saw. No clue what it was. But then I married an environmental scientist, and she knows bugs better than I do. So I try to use her knowledge. A few random creators. Yeah, we have. That's right. And And awesome 2 channels too, Random Fishing, and maybe that's what I was thinking of. I know who you both are, clearly in my mind, but I think I heard the word random come out of my mouth, and I was like, I feel like I've said random before. That's what it is. Random Adventures and Random Fishing. All right, somebody talked about this lure the other night. Who knows what this one's called? I'll bet you Ted knows. This seems like a Ted lure. I want to see who knows what that lure is. Hey, Shad Daddy, welcome in. What's going on? Random Fishing. It makes a great coffee book. It makes you look like one of those sophisticated fly anglers. I don't fit in with that crowd, and I don't know. I don't have the Orvis boots or something. I think the younger guys doing it are, I don't know, seem like they're easier to get along with people my age that are dressed in the Orvis stuff. They're just a different breed. I got it, Ted. I don't know if you're still here, but I found it. That is the Phoebe right there. So, I don't know if you can read. There it is, Phoebe. So it's like a fish lure. This is in my ice fishing box. I use this for. Yep, Tim got it. Super duper. Another Pittsburgh. I feel like that's a big Pittsburgh lure. I don't know why. I think that's a Pittsburgh thing. Ever use a super duper for trout? I don't think I have. It's sitting in my box collecting dust. That's right. What was the other one? Can't read that. Oh, goldfish helgi. These little, I have all these in my ice fishing boxes, but they will also work. I like to vertical jig those. Swedish pimple, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I use a lot of rooster tails too. I personally don't use rooster tails as often. I use them without the rooster tail. What happens, I buy rooster tails, and then if I get one short strike, I just start cutting the thing off immediately. So I have a whole bunch with like this. I swear I get one short strike and I'm cutting. I'm like, oh, that's got to come off. I don't know. I try not to buy them because of that. But like this is like a bigger one, but I catch a lot of trout on this one too, especially when the water is like flooding. This is like, if it's stained and dirty, I'll throw this one. I do really good in stained water on that one. Super Dupers and Cast Masters and Nitty One. What's the Nitty One? NITI One. Helgi. I don't know what that one is. Rooster tails. Matt, Want to Be Outdoors, says rooster tails work awesome here in northern Arkansas. Use a lot of everything. Yep. Add a smaller hook onto the treble for short strikes. Yeah. It's hard to do those changes on the creek when I'm like, every time I look up, Kevin's around the bend or something. I'm trying to catch up to him. What's a rooster tail? Let me look what a rooster tail is. I feel like I used to know what rooster tails were. Maybe I don't. I feel like we call rooster tails like anything with the fuzz on the back. I mean, these are big ones, but like that's what I think of when I say rooster tail. What's a true rooster tail? I'm confused. Nitty One, they are made in St. Michael, PA. Really? I saw there was a couple companies in like upstate PA that were making lures, and there's one I wanted to reach out to because they looked like simple but really good. They have a spinner, but they have a spinner yet a small hair skirt. All right, I'll have to check that out. Hey, Nets, welcome in. Nets Blog 21 is in the house. Welcome, welcome, sister. I got my local apple cider. I love where I live. They press their own apples just up the road from us. So this time of year, I'm always sick, always got sore throat, so I'm always drinking hot cider. Random, you're driving me nuts, Random. Is this a rooster tail? I need to know. I'm not going to sleep tonight. All right, Taco. Catch you in a little bit, buddy. Panther Martins. Panther Martins are good too. I got some small blade. Yeah, I wanted to give some more of the Euro tackle stuff a try. Yeah, that stuff looks good. My voice is going already, 45 minutes in. Rooster tails are very popular in the South. All right, so yeah, that's like a go-to around here. Yeah. So is it that makes it a rooster tail? Is that the hooks stick out from the fuzz instead of being in the fuzz? Is that like the signature rooster tail, or is it just a brand of lure? We use these all the time. Like this one. All right. I was using the term rooster tail too widely, too general. That's why I got you guys here. Keep me straight. Oh, wait. What is this? What is that? Got to use the light. Yeah, that's the Panther Martin right there. Little Panther Martin. If it got flash, it gets smashed. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is like we think about what it looks like, but it's like, it's like using the right weight to get it to the right spot in the water, to be able to cast it where you need it. All that stuff's equally as important, if not more important, than what it looks like, because you're going to get a lot of reaction strikes, and it's more about putting it in front of their face, which seems easy, but when you have different currents and stuff, it's not as easy as you might think. You could be fishing 2 feet above their heads all day long and cover 2 miles of creek and not catch anything. And really, you're just fishing too shallow or, not in the right depth. Hey, Steve Lock 760. Welcome in, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Just hanging out, talking about trout fishing. If you got any questions or anything, let me know. If anybody wants to come up and chat, share up what they're doing, doesn't have to be trout fishing. I can drop the link. I'd like to keep it to fishing or hunting if possible, but I don't mind chatting anything up for a short period of time. But if it's going to go on for a long period of time, I want to stick it to fishing and hunting. It's as easy as fly fishing. Fly fishing, I don't know. I don't know what people call fly fishing, but you go to a lot of these fly fishing only sections of these creeks, and there's guys that are doing everything but, they got a fly rod, but that ain't fly fishing in my book. But there's BFA. Welcome in, Bank Fishing Adventures. Anyone got any premieres or lives? Feel free to drop your links in the chat. I think you can do that, right? Just because I'm on StreamYard, I think you can still do that. If you guys are going live, I appreciate all you guys. I watch as many of you guys as often as I can. So yeah, if you guys have something coming up, share it away. It depends. I think fly fishing sometimes is like when they're hitting the top and they're hitting bugs. The only time I can catch, fish during that is on flies. So in that case, it's really easy. But that typically when you're competing elbow to elbow, that's where I don't fly fish under pressure, because to me it's just a losing battle. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm going to get frustrated. And then, you got somebody like, oh, look, that's my fourth. And they're like, using power bait or something. And you're sitting there tying your own flies, trying to be natural. And it's a different type of game. You can't throw a fly at like a pressured fish and expect a bite. So in that way, yeah, it's a lot harder. But yeah, we do live in Pennsylvania after all, so it's going to be pressured. Let's see. Hey, yeah, how you doing, BFA? Steve Locke says, my grandfather and I would. I'm not sure if that was about fly fishing. I was like the first fly fisherman in my family. I got a little bit of a hard time about it. And I didn't even use Orvis, but man, just the fact that I had a fly rod was very controversial in a household of non-fly anglers or fly fishermen. Hey, Wendy Jane, welcome in, welcome back. Yeah, that's exactly right, Matt. And you go out there with a fly rod. You know what's good though? If it's elbow to elbow, I have given Kevin a fly rod. There is nothing like a 9-year-old with a fly rod to clear a spot out. I mean, they will take off running. It works really good for that. Man, BFA has been getting on the catfish lately. He's been out doing all these night lives, and like my season's like over for catfishing. I might get one more in, but it's got to be a Friday night. The problem is I hunt every Saturday now. And Sunday, kids are in school Monday. So I'm thinking of maybe getting up early and doing a Sunday early morning in the city for giant flatties. Might be this Sunday. I don't know. It won't be planned out in advance, but it's on the back of my mind. Yeah, it's a lot more relaxing, man. I totally agree with you. I mean, I grew up fishing in Pennsylvania, Norristown, Philadelphia area. And what I liked is like where I first got into it was Valley Forge, watching the old timers sitting up on the hill, not even fishing because they were watching where the fish were rising. And I tried to do that, but I would do it at like Skipback Creek, which is like one of the most pressured creeks around. And I'd be sitting back like watching, and be like 50 dudes just rolling through, like walking through where the fish actually are and blowing out the holes. And it's like, oh. But yeah, if you can get a nice quiet spot, man, awesome. And I'm actually going to get back into fly tying. I have to get, I used to tie my own flies and used to sell them and all that stuff. But I hate to say it, but I couldn't see I like trout, but I couldn't see the flies anymore. And I know they sell gadgets, but I didn't want to buy them. But I'm going to have to buy gadgets. I started tying them for like salmon and bigger fish and stuff, but I don't do them for trout anymore. But I will. I need to. Kevin's starting to get the itch for it. And Stuart, the fish whisperer, I think he's live right now too, Wendy said. But I know he was tying up some flies for us, so that was awesome. He's going to send some over for Kev to try. Dave from Double Hook Angling. I think I won jigs. I still don't know that I won them because I was watching that live. I might have missed it, but he said I won. And he's sending me jigs, and he's going to put some extras in there for Kev. And that'll be like our third or fourth batch of jigs from Dave. And when that guy sends you jigs, like he sends you like 3 or 4, no, like 10 or 20 come in, like a whole box. Like the last time he gave us the whole box with jigs in it, White River box, like beautiful jig box filled with his jigs. And his jigs work awesome. They work a lot better than the trout magnets. The only problem is I don't know the right length. So like the trout magnet is built just to like slide on and hang off straight at the right spot. But as far as quality, his hooks are a lot sharper. I don't know what hooks he uses. Really sharp hooks, and you're buying them from an awesome dude instead of Walmart. And even with the some of the ones he ties with the hair on, when I run out of bait, if I'm like taking mealworms, I still catch trout on nothing but the hair on there too. So, yeah. I've got a lot of people in the fly. Matt, who are you talking to? Have to send you some smaller flies. Dave or Stuart? I think Stuart's sending me a mix. Oh, wait. I just saw Steve Locke. My grandfather and I would catch tons of trout trolling the super dupers on the lake in the 90s. Yeah, you might be the guy my dad talks about, Steve. Like my dad always says about this guy that would like the only lure he would use would be trolling super dupers. And I think they were out fishing up in Ontario at the time. They'd run up to like, what is the Lowborough Lake? They used to fish a lot back when there was like 5, 6, 7 pound largies in there all over the place. And huge pike. I think it's all outfished now, but yeah, I think that's where he used to say they were using super dupers all the time. I only have one, so I'm always afraid that I don't like to have one lure. I get nervous because if I catch something on it and then lose it, I won't remember what it was. So I'd like to have 2 in my box before I use it. And then if I catch something on it and I like it, I'll like keep that as the example and then go buy a whole bunch more of them. Dave. Okay. Yeah, Dave. Maybe we used them up. Dave's tied us some tiny ones up. We probably used them up already. Kevin tears through stuff so quick. It's out of control. But yeah, I've done some videos just on his jigs as thank yous to him. And it's like no lie. I mean, we catch a lot of fish on his stuff. Even fish we really shouldn't be trying. Like we shouldn't be targeting largemouth with his jigs, even his tiny ones. But you know how it is. You're traveling a creek with a kid and you're like, look at the size of that bass. Next thing you know, you're like, digging under a log for like a salamander and hooking it up and throwing it out there. But yeah, they're sharp. And they're the other point I wanted to make, Dave's jigs versus like store-bought power trout magnets. Trout magnet jigs, I've broken a few off and like it's going to happen. And I've lost a couple, but I'm going to lose a dream fish on one someday because I use them all the time and their quality kind of sucks. Like they break pretty easily. And I know sometime I'm not going to have the drag set just right. And I'm going to get a monster and it's going to break off. It's going to break the jig and I'm going to kick myself. But, yeah, I don't know. What time is it? 7:57. Not sure how long I'll stay live tonight and hang out with you guys. If anybody wants to come up, I'll drop the link again. Copied, paste. We're close to getting monetized. I'll give the rundown. I think we're like 1,300 subs, and we needed like 50. We're down to 50 hours needed, and it's back up to like 70. And then today it's like 100. I don't know. It's bouncing all over the place. And I'm not rigging the game. I know some people are playing our playlists, which is really appreciated. And I don't know if it even counts, to be honest with you, the way they're always messing with the numbers. And I get why they do it. They're trying to get real data. But I don't know. I can't trust their data anyway. I don't think they even understand what they're pulling. But we're getting close. What else do I want to say about the channel? Friday, we're going to do a video. We shot a video for wild browns down in Valley Forge near Philadelphia. That's where George Washington headquartered during the Revolutionary War. We fished right in that camp. Valley Creek runs through there, and it's a notoriously hard stream to catch. We've gone down there with the GoPro, no kidding, no less than 20 times, and I don't think we ever filmed a video. because we just would catch one or two and it wouldn't be good quality, but we got a good video for you. Boxcar Jerry, we're going the wrong way. Today we're up to 100. We need 100. So it's like a 12-month rolling thing. So we need like 100 hours. We were down. It was 77 yesterday. It was 50 the day before. We're like literally going the wrong way. So they're probably doing one of those little cleanup things. Hey, Nolan, welcome in, buddy. Sorry to hear that. Hope it's fun homework. The one thing about school is the longer you stay in it, the more fun it gets. You start learning what you actually want to learn. You get all the basics done. I barely got out of high school, and then I had like the third highest GPA in college. I graduated. I think they still call it. I'm not like a brainiac at all, but I think they still call it a valedictorian. So I can technically say I was a valedictorian, but I think I had the third highest GPA. And then you have to write. I don't know. I forget what they call it. It was a long time ago. Write something, and they decide if you're actually the valedictorian or not. Which you give a big commencement speech. That's all you do. But yeah, once I hit college, you get to learn what you want to learn, and then it was like awesome. I mean, I had some trumped up fake curriculum, and it was fun. Yeah, AP Calc, AP Research, like no thanks. I got a cell phone. If I can't do the math on here, done. I'm just going to hire you. Done. Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. I just I've been thinking a lot about that, and it's like YouTube has a platform, right? And it's like you have to get so many hours, you have to get so many hours. And I know they're going the other way to try to make it easier to get in, at least to that first rung or whatever of being monetized. But like, I don't want to be live 24/7 just to get the numbers. And then you don't really have any freedom. You think you're doing your own thing, but you're not. You're doing exactly what they want you to do and expect you to do. And, like I say all the time, if my wife would just wear a bikini, we'd be monetized tomorrow. But you know what I mean? Like, you work so hard, you try to put out a good product, and then you look at this other crap that gets up there and it's like all over the place. But I guess that's what it is, I don't want those people anyway. So I like our group. That's enough business talk. I don't know. I'm doing lots of shorts, and I think, is it too many shorts? But like, we catch a lot of fish because we fish every single day. Like, not tooting our own horns or anything, but we catch a ton of fish because we fish a ton. And like, I feel like if I put out any more than 2 a day, like, I get sick of doing it, which is part of it. I love doing shorts. I get to put them out there. My favorite part is picking the music. And I know some of the music's crazy because I give Kevin and Lyle a chance. And it's funny, the more hate you get on those comments, and we can see them all behind the scenes that we don't put out there. As soon as you start getting those hate comments, that's a big video because that one takes off. And the ones that everyone's like, hey, nice fish, they don't go anywhere. So you gotta, I think, keep those things in mind when you're trying to measure or define whether you're being successful or not. And really, I'm just trying to, I love fishing. I fished, all my life and grew up in an outdoors family. And then I fell into the sport of bike racing big time, for a living for a long time, as a second career. And I was in there for way too long, but I kind of got stuck in there and I really enjoyed it. So that's my first love at this point. And then Kevin just got hooked on the fishing, and it was I went back into the fishing world again. And I just it's a great way to spend time. Both my kids enjoy it. So I think that's why I do it. Yeah. Yeah. You get YouTube doesn't care if it's a positive or negative reaction. They just want reaction because all they want, I think, is for somebody to be tuned in, actually be watching it so they can see the advertisement that they put in there for you to see. I mean, that's how they make their money, right? They're making it off of advertisers, I would imagine, unless I'm totally wrong. I'm going to get Mission Discover fired up. That guy probably knows more about the analytics than anyone here. He'll probably have to put down his calculus to tell us something. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I'm going to keep going on, but the other thing about YouTube that bothers me, I know they frown upon like a sub for a sub, but like in my world and how I was brought up and my work culture is like you have relationships, right? Somebody like comes over, watches your channel, subscribes to you. There's a natural feeling to want to subscribe back to them, to view what they do, especially if they have content. And YouTube seems like they just assume that's fake and like deletes those accounts. And you really have to like go the extra mile to make sure you don't lose that sub. I just find that so strange. And I know why they do it. I mean, it makes sense. You can call it what you want, but you know why they're doing it. I'm going to get off that subject. I like to stay positive on my lives. That's as negative, I hope, as I'll get on my lives. But I want to hear from Boxcar Jerry. I gave him a hard time. I called him out last time because he hasn't fished since spring. And I mean, I see him out there filming trains literally right where I'm catching 25-pound catfish. And I want to know why he hasn't cast it in there to try to catch some 25-pound catfish. I mean, you can literally do both, buddy. You can cast in there. And you saw our lives. You saw our lives. We were catfishing and we were watching trains. So next time I see one of your videos, I want to see a video with a train in it and a fishing rod in your hand. That's what I want to see. Yep. I hear you, Matt. I hear you. I mean, it's such a small thing. Like I said, it's free. You sub to them. It comes up and you see something, you know, you want to kind of keep an eye on it because there's so much stuff that comes by. And it's amazing. Like when they talk about, like, I'd love to know how they program their algorithms because you see stuff and you're like, why am I seeing this? It doesn't fit like anything I want to do. But I don't know. Not to mention when you have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old, they get access to your phone one time. Let me say your algorithms will change after that. And I don't think any company can take that into account. All of a sudden I went on, I was like, whoa, what are we looking at here? To teach them the incognito setting. I don't think I got anything else to talk about fishing agenda wise. So I think we'll just kind of chill out and chat. Yeah, no more negative chat. What are you guys all fishing for now? Like I said, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go after trout. But really the only reason I said that is trout season, they're stocking again. And I know people will give like the stock trout, like a hard time. Like, oh, you know, they just dump them in and you go catch them. There's nothing sporting about that. Yeah. So what? Well, you know, you're going to go to the grocery store, right, and buy your food. So there's nothing sporting about that either. It's at least it's something, right? I like going out and harvesting the fish, bringing them back, showing my kids how to clean it, got them, cook recipes from it, and then not feeling guilty that you're like, that was the other piece with stock trout, like why they developed stocking programs, large part with like carp and everything. You can look way back into history, especially guys out in Pittsburgh, you should look that up in the rivers out there. They started doing a lot of carp stockings because in the early, my numbers are going to be off, but I want to say like 1930s, they started like clear cutting for timber. And they also, like under the water, they just basically harvested everything. So they started thinking about like longevity and stocking, other game fish, and like carp were stocked at that point to like actually harvest and eat, to take pressure off of some of the other native fish that they wanted to make sure could like reproduce. So, I can argue everything, I guess, but there's a good side to stocking most fish as well. What is today? Tuesday? October 10th. What's everyone doing for Halloween? Anyone got any like Halloween videos or lives? I was thinking about going live on Friday the 13th for our Halloween thing, which I just realized is in 3 days. So not sure. I thought it'd be cool to go down catfishing in Philly on Friday the 13th. But then I thought I would want to dress up, and in Center City, Philadelphia, one of the highest crime areas, I may not want to be dressed like a pirate at 3 a.m. with a 9-year-old. Matt said, I'm in northern Arkansas, so I'm going to be fishing for everything still. Yeah, I guess, yeah, you got the delayed. It's still warm enough. Catfish, smallies, trout, walleye. Walleye. I didn't think of Arkansas as a place to catch walleye. That's interesting. Go for pike and muskie. Nice. That's a great mix of fish right there. All those are in the same small river I fish too. Yeah, we catch some big fish in the fall. Tim said Halloween week, I'm always on vacation and in a deer stand Halloween morning and night. Funny you say that. When I grew up, Halloween was my favorite holiday. It had nothing to do with, well, maybe it had a little to do with trick-or-treating. My brother, about the same age, and I used to go out trick-or-treating, run around the town, and my grandparents would come to our house and would count, like back then, everybody went trick-or-treating. We had hundreds of people by the house, and they would keep track. They would write down how many people came to the house that year. But what I liked about it is we came home with our bag of candy. We sat it on the floor. That was the same night we packed for, like, I guess it was buck season. And we'd have like Buckmasters, Jackie Bush, and we'd have all the shows playing. Grunt Call, we had all our deer stuff. We were like rattling, trying to like learn how to do everything. And that we always did that on Halloween. That was like my favorite part of that holiday. For me, Halloween's always like gearing up for like buck season. It had nothing to do with candy. Yeah, it's funny. Always had good luck hunting on Halloween. Another holiday, you can tell you're an outdoors family. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is another great holiday. My mom would cook all day. But the boys would, my dad, I don't think went this too often. This was more me and my brother when we got in the high school age. But we'd go with a group of guys over to one of the state parks, and we would do small game hunting all day long until the turkey was ready. That was always an awesome day. Matt said it would be funny to get a bunch of guys to wear a costume besides camo in the tree stand or just a mask or something to paint the zombie face. Yeah. Yo, Natural State. Welcome in, buddy. What's going on? Hope you're doing good. Your kid cracks me up, man. Video of him, you're sitting there, and I know, I think he's a little bit younger than our guy. But you guys are all trying to like make a point, got the video angle down, and he's sitting there with like his bubble. Your guys were like doing a review, I think, of like was it Placimo or something, fishing rod. He's over there with his bubble maker. It was cracking me up. Black Friday, you shoot your rifles. Yeah. I wonder if that's like a Pennsylvania thing, just the way the seasons. It's so redneck. Mission Discover, which is Nolan, said he just put out the link to my first of several scheduled live streams for the Sunfish King tournament and all the info. Awesome. Yeah, I know you're doing homework, but if you wanted to pop up and like say anything about the tournament, feel free to, bud. Totally. I think it starts this Sunday, if I remember. Kevin and I did the last winter league, and right now I think they finished up like the regular season, and they're now in the championship. And Nolan finished first in the regular season, I guess the way to put it. And now he's got to compete for this final stage. And I'm not sure exactly what that entails, if it's a one day or like a week or a couple of different events, but he's going to be live. So if you want to see him try to clinch this thing live, that'd be a fun video. We did our championship with Sunfish King live, and this was I think like a month after the regular season finished, and Kevin and I were doing it together because we were like first and second in the series or whatever. And like literally we fished like 4 hours into like 6 hour tournament. And then Kevin was like, I'm done, and just went swimming in the creek the rest of the time. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Natural States. He loves that thing. Just turned 3. He's big for 3, isn't he? He looks like a big 3-year-old. 6 hours. Same rules as the regular. All right, man. I'll be rooting for you. Let me know if there's anything we can do. This would be this Sunday. What do I have going on? Yeah, let me know if there's anything you can do. It's the most fish for size, right? I don't want to get in trouble, but if we do go down to Philly and we get on the flatties, maybe I'll text you if we get into a spot where they're biting. I don't know how you get down there, though. That's going to be a problem. And I'm sure you got it all mapped out. So you got to think of the overall approach. And I think it's the total size and length. But I don't know how many species. I forget all that stuff. So if it's like as many species and the top 1 counts of each, then a multi-species approach will probably win, I would imagine. He said he's a big stinker. 6 hours. Well, total length multi-species. Okay. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. There's so many different ways you can go about that. Like, you go after like a huge fish and you got 6 hours. So like, and then like really knowing who you're fishing against is half the battle. Like if you got somebody that's is going to pull out a sturgeon, at least one sturgeon, then you gotta go in a spot where you can get some size too. Especially the rain. Yeah, rain. That's the thing. You never know what you're going to get that day. And our championship day, not to like excuse anything, but it was like 96 degrees in the middle of the drought, and it sucked. And the timing was not favorable because it was like moved back a little bit for the Western folks. I mean, it's fine. I knew that going in. I race for a living. I totally understand, organizing any type of event, and it's for entertainment. Yeah, there's not enough. No one, like we used to say in bike racing, we're not getting rich doing this. Chill out, And people get all crazy and start talking on it. And I'm using this as a metaphor because I see it too in this community. Everyone getting antsy on like lives and stuff. Dude, it's just fishing, man. Nobody's getting rich doing it, So just chill out. And it's not worth giving anyone a hard time about anything. If you're giving anyone a hard time, you probably overextended yourself anyway. Just chill out. Trying to get a catfish is my big fish. And yeah, I mean, think about where we were, because you can pick up the panfish while you're waiting for the catfish. I'm not going to sway you because I don't know what you know in other spots, but I'm just thinking I could probably pull out a green. We call it red breast down there. I don't know what else you could get if you targeted. Your mosquito fish will give you a solid inch. We got a real question, a trout question here. Natural State. What's your favorite jig color for rainbow trout? Now, when you say jig color, I naturally think trout magnet. So for me, and there's no strong favorite, but I will show you what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go worm colored. I'm going to go with a pink or a red, right? Like this power worm, anything that color. Something like that. Even if it's hair, I'm going to stick to that color pattern. But there's times where dark, muddy water, I'll go to the black and green. Anytime the water is hard to see, this is my color. And then sometimes all they want is the gold. I don't know why. So I know you said favorite, but I don't have one, I guess. If we're talking hair jigs, it's really the same colors. I might favor the darker ones a little bit more. I like the black marabou jig a lot. What's your favorite? Yeah, that's exactly right too. Like, you got to figure out like where you're starting and where you're coming from and put them in a line, and maybe do if you're going to go somewhere far, drive there first, so you're there, you can't fish yet. So you drive and then you're working your way back, but it's only dependent on your other spots. You got to put them, talking to Mission Discover, and he's trying to catch as many species as he can with the greatest size for this tournament he's got coming up on Sunday. So yeah, I think you got to have one spot after another, and you gotta, you're gonna have your life straw with you, and make sure you pack the food, man. Don't underestimate like all that little stuff. One run the Wawa, you could have caught 2 more species. So after I got done telling you about how it's not worth it and it's just for fun, I lie like that all the time because I'm so competitive by nature, and that's why I didn't do this one. Because Kevin and I are both the same way. We competed so hard in the first one, and we didn't even burn out. That's the problem. Like, people are like, "Oh, you're going to burn out." I burned my whole family out. I was just like on the go. Wake up, we'd fish before we went to school, fish after. I don't burn out. I burn everyone else out. So I was just like, they need a break. I can't do this. But now I'm ready for another one. Bogley's keeping it real. Welcome in, Chris. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for coming over. We were hanging out talking about trout, circling back a little bit about trout here and there. Right now we're talking about Mission Discovery. He's got a big tournament coming up, Sunfish King Summer League. Finished first place in the regular season, and he's going to the playoffs. And now he's got to catch a ton of different species, and he is a good multi-species angler. I wonder if you could win that on mosquito fish and like tons of creek chubs. I mean, I'm sure you're going to go after all those things, but there's a lot of little species and hybrids and stuff. It's one of those things you sit down there like, oh, there's 3 sunfish, but then you look at it and like, technically there's probably 7 you could catch here. And then you got your shiners, you got your striped shiner, you got your common shiner, you got your white sucker, you got your rose head, gold head, whatever it's called. Like, there's a lot more species than people think. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I love the multi-species game. Nolan, tell me you know that movie that quote's from. I feel like the juice isn't worth the squeeze with the time travel or the travel time. It's the greatest movie of all time, by the way. Natural state fishing. I'm tying 300 1/80th ounce jigs for a bait shop. Has me thinking about trout. Man, you have a better eyesight than me. That's insane. Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm bummed, man. The guy that ran our local shop, I don't know if you know the name Bill Pearson, but he owned Pearson Plugs. He just died a few weeks ago. Man, that guy. Let me see if I have one of his plugs. And he was the type of guy, like, I walked in there as a teenager and he put me to work, like turning plugs on his lathe. Let's see if I can find some of these. Be right back. I mean, this isn't the best one or anything, but we would turn these guys. Let me get this on here. Turn these guys on a lathe. The treble hooks in them. We had some that were double prop. This is a single prop one. And we would put, like when I was in business up in Alaska, we would put our lodge name, and every person that came up to our lodge put their name on there. So everybody that came to our lodge got one. And then we always would make 2, and we would keep one as well. But man, I'm going to miss that guy. Awesome gem of a guy. And he used to make a lot of our spinning stuff for salmon too. Huge spinner lures and all handmade. And yeah, man, I used to raise and sell mealworms for a shop, and he helped me with like the business license and everything so we could do it legally. So the other local bait company wouldn't go after us, which they will. So watch yourself, make sure you're licensed because they will come and get you. As soon as you start making a little bit of money, all of a sudden you're on somebody else's radar. It's 8:24. I don't know how much longer I'll stay on. Probably like another 10 minutes or so, unless if anybody wants to come up and chat, got anyone that going to talk about anything, I'll drop the link one last time. Don't be afraid to. I'm thinking about maybe doing more of like using StreamYard. I don't like StreamYard for outside. I think the quality stinks outside. That's my experience. And then when they had that whole issue with it, like your screen would just disappear if you were actually like doing something like fishing. You cast it like twice and you come back, the live was gone. And that went on for months. So I was out of there, but in the house, a little bit easier to like maintain that stuff. Chris, you still in here? You doing any fishing? That's a dude that hits the local spots pretty hard. And he tears it up on the Delaware. And that's a river I don't know well. And I want to get over there because I want to get some blue cats, and never caught a blue. We don't have them in our river drainage system, but they got them there pretty far down, I guess. But he catches stripers. He's catching walleye out of there. I'm not catching any of that stuff around here, so I might have to go and check that out. All right, let me go look at Mission Discover's community tab here. Wait, on my community tab. Nolan, I went to your community tab. It doesn't exist, dude. You got nothing on your community tab. What's up with that? When I go to your community tab, I can't see anything. All right. Yeah, I haven't seen you post anything, Chris, and I usually watch like everything that pops up. So I was wondering. Yeah, love your videos. Awesome stuff, especially the Guns N' Roses. You had me at Guns N' Roses. So awesome. And John, I know he's not in here, but he's just so jealous of you. Unbelievable. I think you're like north of me. I just by looking at the water, I'm not sure exactly if you're like up in the eastern area, but I think you're up north. That is weird, Mission Discover. Like, I don't know. Like, so can anyone else look at Mission Discover's community page? Can they see anything? I see your home. You got tons of stuff on the home screen. Lots of videos. You got shorts. You got the live coming up. Oh, I see the live. Easton. All right, cool, Chris. That's what I thought you were. All right. Dude, I don't know, man. Google gods hate me. I swear the Google gods hate me. I talk to our IT people at work way too often. They'll come into my computer and be like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, I'm tired of hearing that. Never seen it. I'm telling you, Google hates me. Let me see if I have the snippet tool here. Yeah, let me see if I can do this. It won't let me put a picture in there. 828. Forget it. I can't put the image in there, but the community shows says the channel hasn't posted yet. All right, I take your word for it. It's there. It's just not there for me. I better just quit while I'm ahead. I'm going to lock myself out. I saw an option to ban user, and that would be me. So I'm not going to hit that. That's so weird. I think I put his link up there. I will try to watch that. I always try to watch, but then I get out there in a situation like this weekend. We went down the shore. I don't know if you guys caught my lives this weekend, but we went down the shore for Tog. And man, the days just run into each other because we're crazy busy with fishing. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, it was, because Saturday I went upstate. I hunted with Lyle, and it poured rain the entire day. And so we went out. We got in the blind. It stopped raining for 30 minutes. And he's like, I want to go squirrel hunting. So I'm like, sure, let's go back, grab the 410 and go take a walk. Hey, Ken, welcome in, buddy. So we grabbed the 410. We go out there squirrel hunting. And this is his first year hunting. So he kind of wants to do it all. And it's good because I actually told him I don't want to be in the blind all day. That's just too long for somebody getting into it. So I'm like, yeah, let's go get the gun. So we're up in like Lee Heighton area, Pennsylvania. And we're on this big mountain. So we no sooner get to the bottom of the mountain and it just opens up, starts pouring on us. So we're like almost running as safely as we're walking, but like as fast as you could run safely or walk safely. So we were soaked the rest of the day. So we would be in the blind like 3 hours. And then we'd go to the car and we'd come back to the blind. And my wife's like, do you see anything? Like, do you think we saw anything? Like, there was no chance a deer was going to walk out. It would have to be the dumbest deer to walk out in front of us. But so that was Saturday. I was already feeling sick because I was in the weather all day. Yeah, Ken's got an awesome channel. He's like a newer friend, but he's all over my videos, commenting. And this dude, I don't know, he's got like 50. I think I heard him say he's never going to get more than 50 snakes, but he's got like 50 snakes. He breeds them. Check him out if you're in the reptiles. Cool dude. And he does it all for his daughters, it seems like that's what got him into it. I thought that was really cool. Hey, Wendy Jane. So I was beat tired, got home at like 10:30 at night, and Lyle's beat tired, but he's done, right? He can just lay in bed and whatever. And then Kevin's like, hey, we're going to the shore tomorrow. I'm like, it's 10:30. So we get up at like 5. I'm like, sure, I'm going to go there. Like, what else am I going to do? So we get up like 5:30 in the morning, hop in the car, drive 2 hours down. And it was supposed to be 67 and like 5-mile-an-hour winds. That's why I checked the night before. As soon as we said, let's go, I wake up and we're already committed. Car's packed, ready to go. I look at the forecast and it's 20-mile-an-hour winds. I'm like, oh man, it only went up to like 60. So 60 with like 20-mile-an-hour winds is warm for like 5 minutes and then freezing cold after that. So Ken says, yeah, basically, I'm building this for my daughters. I have 3 of them, so I'm going to get a lot of snakes. That's right. Yeah, man, you know a lot, and you're not cocky about it, which is awesome. But you definitely know a lot. You've put your time and research in, which is awesome. He's a state college guy Chris is a local guy. Ken is up in State College, Pennsylvania. So Sunday we get down there. It's freaking nasty weather, but the reason we went, Cameron from Boulevard Bait and Tackle runs the shop in Sea Isle, and we always camp there every year, like right around the corner. So I befriended him like 5 years ago, and like we spend a lot of money in his shop because you know how we roll. We fish constantly, and that's our vacation. So we're buying like the best bait, whatever rods. That's our vacation. I'm going to get splurge a little bit. So he gives us more and more information every time I drop him a couple way too much money on stuff. So he always helps us out, gives us like good tips and stuff. So like I follow him on Instagram, and once in a while I can see his posts and like anything running. Kevin wants to come to the shore, like anything, like a sand shark, jellyfish, like we're there. Just tell me what's there so I know what to bring. He's like, oh, tog. So I'm like, that's it. Never caught a tog. So we hop in the car. We're like, we're going to go down, catch tog. I don't even, like never fish for tog. Kevin's researching how to catch tog on the way down. So we go in the shop, we rig up, and we're out there catching tog. So we did the lives, and we were trying to follow other people's lives. I knew Stuart had a big live, but their batteries were like dying. I don't, my phone wouldn't hold a charge. I don't know why. I actually think it was getting hacked somehow, because I run lives all the time and I can run 8 hours with no backup. And I had the backup on, which should have been like 4 times that. But it was just like dying quick. And I couldn't figure out what it was because it wouldn't even turn back on. And I charged it for like 30 minutes and it finally turned on. But then we got a second live going. But long story short, we got 3 togs and a bunch of little sea bass. So, I mean, it was fun. I mean, we enjoy just getting out. It's not about like what we actually catch. The goal was to catch a new species. So we brought in a short tog and he was thrilled. I caught the first one by myself and he caught the second one by himself. So it was like, no, like handing off rods. It was like his catch. So that was pretty cool. Chris said the winds were brutal on Sunday. Did try to get out. Yeah, we had hoped to get out on a boat actually, and we ended up on the jetties. I may release a video or turn it into a short just to show you, but we were out on this jetty and there was like the occasional wave breaking over the jetty behind us. I'm like, let's get the heck out of here. And there were guys fishing like further out. It was like the low point in the jetty. But when you see a wave come over the jetty behind you, I was just like, for me, I would do it, but not with a 9-year-old. I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that like loses their kid and be like, what are you thinking? So I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. So we went back and fished a couple other like not as productive spots, but we still had a blast. Chris got out maybe an hour. I was drifting in current, still getting blown upstream. Right? Yeah, that's rough. We have, yeah, I was talking about that, Ken. So in like Pennsylvania, native trout are like the brook trout, right? Yeah, we do have some brookies. Species why like native like lists are weird. Like the fish nerds get really weird with that stuff. So a native brook trout is the same species as a stocked brook trout, but anyone in the right mind would like know it, dude. It's so much cooler to get a native, and you can like usually tell with the colorations and everything. But we've caught a few. We did a video, the one that we did up at Kalahari. They were all natives. They were native brookies in this little stream that came out of the ground and went back in the ground within 2 miles. So we fished there and we got on them good. And I know, brookies are usually hard to catch, but these brookies were not that hard to catch. They were eating everything we put in the water. It's pretty insane. Yeah, Ken, I know where you are, buddy. I spend a lot of time in up Bald Eagle State Forest. I rode mountain bikes up there for years. One of the first fat bike races on snow was held at State College on those. I used to go see Whipple-Jam play at State College. I spent a lot of time where you are. We're closer than you think as far as experiences, I think. I know a lot of those little streams. You guys have those big white signs up there like native trout. It tells you what to do and that these are occupied by native trout. I scouted that area out from years of mountain bike racing, and I had I took a memory shot as I was passing these, and that's why I know as many good spots. Somebody made the comment lately, like, you guys get around. Like for like 15 years, I raced bikes for a living, and all you do is travel to the coolest, beautiful places because we race on mountains. Technically, usually it's held at a mountain or a state forest or a state park. And I was always like an angler at heart, and I would just see these spots and just like write them down or take a mental note. And my gosh, yeah, Shannon, yeah. Yeah, State College might be my second favorite Eastern U.S. spot. First would be Davis, West Virginia. Canaan Valley would be by far my favorite. And then I think State College is probably my second. And then third would be like White Mountains area. And it might be a little biased. I haven't gone down south as much lately just because I don't do well in the heat. But if I did, or if I went down there like February, I'd probably love it down there too. Yeah. My best friend went he did his undergrad work, Penn State, did his grad work at Villanova. Yeah. It depends, man. I mean, The whole college thing is so crazy, and it's different than when I went, but it's probably gotten even crazier. You just have to look at what you want to do, what kind of instructors they have, what kind of programs they have. Penn State, for me, would be like the spot. Well, there's one spot up in like Maine I would love Kevin to go to because Kevin's already told me at 9 years old he wants to. And I like I'm such a bad parent. I'm like I hope he doesn't want to go to college. Like he's just not built for college. But he wants to go to college and learn about like conservation and waterways because all he wants to do is fish. He wants to learn all about it. He can. So I started talking about these places that are up in the Adirondacks. I think it's the Smith College. And man, they got awesome programs. I've met a lot of salmon guides who went through those schools, and he's kind of hooked on that. And that's kind of what he's thinking about. But Penn State's got so many cool programs like that. So like, they had the freaking god of fly fishermen. What's his face? Like he was teaching a course at Penn State, like that's insane. Ken said he grew up in Uniontown, just south of Ohio. Random J just did a video on Random J, random fishing. I just watched the video today. He fished Ohio, north of West Virginia. Yeah. Gotcha. Uniontown is just south of Ohio Falls. Okay. That might be somewhere different. I was thinking Ohio, like, is that the Allegheny out towards Pittsburgh? I wonder if that's the same river, though. Is that the river does it go down south? Yeah, I did a lot of work in West Virginia. I worked with Project Appalachia for a few years in college. I had a weird life, but spent some time building homes down there for coal workers and that like lost their legs. And so much devastation down there. We talk about third world countries, man, and we ignore Appalachia. It's crazy. And I did a lot of work down there. We built they all lived in like mobile homes, and you can't get a loan. It was like illegal to take a loan out but if you give them a foundation. So the whole idea of the project was to build foundations on these mobile homes so they could then turn around and like hand them off and do loans and leases and participate in society, basically. The U River. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I know that's like short for the whole thing. I've been down in the West Virginia part of that, and I guess I've ridden by that. I used to race from Philly to Pittsburgh every year, and there's a trail out that way that follows one of the rivers. I don't know if it's the Allegheny. The last like 100 miles into Pittsburgh is on that rail trail, basically. The slowest, softest rail trail you'll ever ride. Savage Batman, welcome in. Yep. Yeah, that's it. I can't pronounce it, but yep. Yeah, the Montague. The Mon is the one that I fished that and have traveled that in a raft down in West Virginia. I think that was like, if I'm thinking right, I might be confused now. Thanks, Savage. I think I'm heading out in a few minutes, though. We've been live an hour and 43, and yeah, I guess they're all Indian names, right, Ken? Is that what they are? Indian names? They gotta be. I can't pronounce any of them. The Mon Man. Mon Man. Good Lord. Do we have a cat? I think we're in the process of bringing the rescue cat indoors here, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. We have two female cats, and there's a male cat that has been roaming around our property, and it won't leave. I think it's coming indoors tonight, so that's going to be our project for the night. I appreciate that, Savage. Thank you very much, man. Really do. Anyone has anything to say before I cut out? I enjoyed the live. Hope somebody gets something out of it that's maybe newer to trout fishing or whatever. I'm not sure what the plan is for next week. We'll do a live Tuesday night unless something crazy happens. We try to always do a Tuesday night live. It'll probably have to be indoors. Thursday, we might be live. I'm not sure yet. Outside fishing. Not sure. Probably do some type of pop-up live. We got a long format video on Friday, which will be wild brown trout. Susquehanna and Schuylkill are easy. We might be biased, but I think they're easy. Allegheny's pretty easy. But I think if you're from anywhere other than here, I think it's really hard. Yeah, I guess you're right. Good luck, Ken. I'm a slow learner. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Appreciate everyone coming in, participating. You guys, the comment section made the live so much better because you guys knew, a lot of the lures. I didn't even know what they were called, and you brought up a lot of the other lures I wasn't thinking of. So I appreciate you guys. We have an awesome community. Have a great night. Chris, thank you. Hope everyone has a good night. Hope you guys get out on the water. Ken, let's have that conversation. No, let's not. No. All right. Peace out.